Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Anita Anggraini. I'm from Faculty Communication and Language, Program Study English Literature. Today I want a presentation about topic case study compound nouns and compound adjectives and part of speech, also word formation. Case study, compound nouns and compound adjectives. In product labels and marketing slogans, this analysis identifies and classifies examples of compound nouns and compound adjectives from real-world texts, examining how their meaning differ from their individual words and how they affect communication style and clarity. Text 1. Identifying compound nouns and adjectives. Examples were gathered from diverse sources, including advertisement, product packaging, and news article. These are 10 compound nouns examples and 5 examples of compound adjectives. Compound nouns, it has a bookstore, and this is evidenced by search by Barnes and Noble Email Newsletter 2023. Smartphone that you can find search from Samsung Galaxy S23 box 2023. Greenhouse that you can find a search from the New York Times Climate Change Report June 2022. The greenhouse effect is worsening global warming. Full moon, you can find a search from National Geographic Astronomy Facts, August 2021. Heartbeat, you can find search from Fitbit at 2023fitbit.com. Seashells, you can find a search from Expedia Vacation at 2023. Snowball, you can find search from CNN Political News, December 2020. Keychain, you can find from Amazon product description for a keychain 2023. Sunrise, you can find search by the sunrise painted the sky. You can in Poetry Magazine, Nature Poems, Spring 2022. Windshield, you can find search from Ford Truck at 2023 by Ford.com. And also it has 5 examples of compound adjectives. It has high tech. You can find search by Microsoft Azure at 2023. Well behaved. You can find a search from Parents Magazine Child Development, May 2021. Quick drying. You can find search by Nike Running Shoes Packaging 2023. Long term, you can find a search from the Wall Street Journal Investment Advice, September 2022. Red hot, you can find a search on Yelp review for a Mexican restaurant 2023. Tasks 2 and 3, classification and idiomatic meaning. Compound words often produce idiomatic meanings, where the combined words have a meaning that is different from the sum of their parts. Compound nouns classification, primarily noun plus noun. For example, bookstore, greenhouse, heartbeat, seashell, snowball, keychain, sunrise, windshield. 2 are adjective plus noun, smartphone, full moon. Compound adjectives classification are adjective plus adjective. For example, high-tech, quick drying, long-term, red hot. One is adverb plus adjective. For example, well-behaved. Meaning differences examples. Bookstore, not a store made of books, but its meaning a store that sells books. Smartphone, not just a smartphone, but its mean a mobile device with advanced computing capabilities. Greenhouse, not a greenhouse. It means a structure for growing plants. Windshield, not a windshield. It means the front window of a vehicle. High tech doesn't mean high-end tech. It means advanced technology. Well behaved doesn't mean well and behave. It means polite or obedient. Test sport of impact compound forms on communication of communication. Compound forms significantly influence tone, style, and clarity in communication by simplifying language and combining ideas. Clarity and precision. Compound sentences simplify language and improve clarity by combining ideas. For example, smartphone is more precise than intelligent telephone. Modern and efficient tone. They convey a modern and efficient tone in their marketing. For example, quick drying sounds innovative and appealing. Objectivity and authority. In the news, they add objectivity. For example, greenhouse effect conveys scientific authority. Potential for obscurity. However, these terms can be difficult for non-native speakers to understand, requiring context. Overall, these terms enrich the language by creating concise and evocative terms, making communication more precise and culturally specific. Case study idioms in business conversation. Idioms are very important for expressive and culturally rich communication in both professional and everyday settings. Text 1, selected idioms with evidence. Bite the bullet. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and make tough decisions. This search from Harvard Business Review Leadership Challenges, February 2023. Piece of cake. This project was a piece of cake compared to last quarter. Search from Lincoln Professional Update 2023. Spill the beans. The whistleblower decided to spill the beans on the corruption. Search by the Guardian Corporate Scandals, April 2022. Hit the ground running. New hires should hit the ground running to impress. Search from Forbes Career Advice, July 2021. Burn the midnight oil. I burned the midnight oil to finish the presentation. Search from TED Talk transcript by Breen Brown, Vulnerability in Work, 2018. Text 2 and 3, Meaning and Context of Idioms. Understanding both the literal figurative meaning is crucial for appropriate use in professional context. Idiom bite the bullet, figurative meaning, facing a difficult situation courageously. Appropriate context in decisions-making meetings. For example, we need to bite the bullet on layoffs. Idiom piece of cake. It means something very easy. From the context in casual feedback. For example, that task was a piece of cake. Idiom spill the beans. It means revealing secrets. The context in gossip or leaks. For example, don't spill the beans about the murder. Idiom hit the ground running. It means start with enthusiasm without delay. In context in warning, for example, let's hit the ground running on this project. Idiom burn the midnight oil. It means work until late at night. In context in work-life balance talks, for example, I burned the midnight oil to meet a deadline. Expressive and cultural richness. The idioms add colors and brevity, making conversations more lively. For example, piece of cake adds humor to simplicity. They draw on English cultural metaphors, for example, historical practice like biting bullets. Building togetherness in business by demonstrating expertise. For learners, this highlight cultural nuances, enriching communication with emotional depth and efficiency. although incorrect usage can cause confusion. Case study: binomial expression in natural English. A binomial expression is a fixed phrase linked by a connector, often used to convey a single concise idea. Binomial structure and connectors. Hustle and bustle. Structure noun and noun. Connector N. Search from New York film 1977. 77. Trial and error. Noun plus noun. The connector N. Search from BBC News Tech Development March 2023. Noun plus noun, peace and quiet. Connector N. Search from Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice 1813. Now or never. Structure adverb plus adverb. The connector is or. Search from Elvis Presley song It's Now or Never 1960. Wine and dine. Verb plus verb. Connector N. Search from Friends TV episode season 5 1999. Semantic relationship. Hustle and bustle is complement, synonymous from busy activity. Now or never is contrast. Urgency versus impossibility. Trial and error. Complement. It's process of experimentation. Wine and dine. Complement. Entertaining with food or drink. Peace and quiet. Complement. It's calm and silence. Binomials in context. Binomials provides a concise and evocative description in natural English. Hustle and bustle. The market was full of hustle and bustle, meaning busy or noisy activity. Now or never. It's now or never to apply for the job. It means act immediately or miss the chance. Trial and error. We learn through trial and error. It means experimenting until success. Wine and dine. The boss wine and dine the clients. It means entertaining lavishly. Peace and quiet. I need some peace and quiet to think. It means tranquility and silence. Case studies: similes in literature and advertising. Text 1. Similes, element, and connectors. As sly as a fox. The element, security system, cunning compared to a fox slyness. The connector is as. Search from ADT Home Security at 2023. As old as the hills. Traditions A compared to hills antiquity. Connector is as. Search from Thomas Hardy Test of the D'Urbervilles 1891. As clear as crystal. Intentions clarity compared to crystal's transparency. Connector is as. Search from William Wordsworth The Solitary Reaper 1807. As fit as a fiddle. Person's health compared to a fiddle's tune. Connector as. Search from Anytime Fitness slogan 2023. As blind as a bat. Person's vision compared to a bat blindness. Connector is as. Search from the Washington Post Health Tips October 2022. Text 3 and 4. Imagery and emotional connection. Metaphors connect abstract concepts with sensory image. For example, as clear as crystal makes clarity tangible, strengthening emotional bonds through shared experience. In advertising, metaphors trigger action. In literature, they evoke longing or empathy. Empathy, making text more immersive and memorable by combining the familiar with vivid imagery. As sly as a fox, creating clever tricks, adding an element of mystery to security acts. As old as the hills, demonstrating enduring resilience, underpinning the narrative of history. As fit as a fiddle, demonstrating perfect health, motivating fitness, champagne. And these are the presentation with the case study for case study. Now we're gonna presentation. I'm gonna presentation part of speech. And in English, words are grouped into basic categories called part of speech, which are defined based on their grammatical function, position in a sentence. The main categories include nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. A noun refers to a word that denotes a person, place, thing, concept, or abstract idea. These words can appear in singular or plural form and often function as subjects or objects in sentences. Nouns are divided into two categories: proper nouns, for example, London. For example, in sentence, London is the capital of England. And, and then individual, which identifies specific entities such as individual or geographical regions. Yes, the example like this, London. And common nouns, for example, book. For example, in sentence, the book is on the table. And last, plural, cats. For example, in sentence, the cats are sleeping. These are evidence for noun is from the Cambridge Grammar of the English Language by Rodney Huddleston and Geoffrey K. Palm, 2002. Pronoun. Pronouns function as substitutes for nouns to avoid repetition, referring back to individuals, objects, or concepts that have been mentioned previously. Category personal, for example, I and you, possessive pronouns such as mine, and reflexive pronoun myself. For examples, personal, she. Anna is tired, so she went home. Possessive, mine, and this book is mine. Reflexive, himself, and he hurt himself. This is our evidence from English Grammar in use by Raymond Murphy, 5th edition, 2019. Verb. A verb denotes an action, condition, or event. It can manifest in various forms, including the base form, past tense, present continuous, and similar variations. The primary categories encompass action verbs, which depict active actions, and linking verbs, which function as connectors. For example, action verb, run, linking verb is, past tense, ate. And these are evidence from Huddleston and Palm, 2002. Adjective. An adjective describes or defines a noun, giving it attributes such as size, color, or quality. Adjective can be placed before the noun or after the linking verb. For examples, before noun, big. For examples from in a sentence, a big house. After verb, happy. Examples in sentence, she is happy. Comparative, bigger. In example sentences, this house is bigger than that one. These are evidence from article adjectives in English from the Oxford English Dictionary, oed.com, access 2023. Adverbs. Adverbs functions to describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs by specifying aspects such as manner, time, place, or degree. Adverbs often with the suffix e or li, although this is not always the case. Modifying verb, quickly, she runs quickly. Modifying adjectives, very. In a sentence, it is very hot. Time, yesterday. In an example sentence, he arrived yesterday. These are evidence from Murphy 2019, and you can find as on page 20 or 20 until 22. Preposition. Prepositions indicate the relationship between words in sentences, such as those related to time, location, or orientation. In general, prepositions are followed by nouns or pronouns. Example, place, in, time, at, direction, to. These are evidence from Huddleston and Palm 2002. It's described. You can see from page 598 until 620. Conjunctions. Conjunctions serve to connect clauses, words, or phrases. Conjunctions can be categorized into coordinating conjunctions, such as and, or, and subordinating conjunctions, such as because or although. Coordinating and in sentences are like tea and coffee. Subordinating because. An example, she stayed home because it was raining. Correlative, either or. An example, either you come or I go. You can find this evidence in a comprehensive grammar of the English language by Randolph Cork et al. 1985 and is on page 920 until 950. Interjection. An interjection is a word or phrase used to express sudden emotions or feelings, usually standing alone or separated by commas. Example, wow is emotion. Reaction, oh. Exclamation, hey. And you can find the evidence from Murphy 2019 refers to interjection as non-structural elements adding expression unit 120. And these all reference from Huddleston R and Palm GK 2022, Murphy R 2019, Crick R et al. 1985, Oxford English Dictionary, Grammarly.com, Part of Speech Guides, and many more. And lastly, I'm gonna presentation about word formation. Word formation, processes, and mechanisms in English. The foundation of vocabulary expansion. Word formation serves as a core linguistic mechanism in morphology, allowing the English vocabulary to evolve and adapt to emerging communication needs, including technological advances and cultural changes. Morphology, research on word structure and how morphemes combine. Productivity, the ability to consistently generate new terms or neologisms. Adaptability, facilitating language adaptation to meet the demands of an ever-changing culture and technology. Evidence for word formation. The productivity of word formation is supported by various fields of linguistic study, which track both historical and modern word creation. Corpus linguistic, tracking neologisms using corpora such as COCA or corpus of contemporary American English. For example, blog, or you can say weblog, and selfie show a rapid adaptation to digital culture. Psycholinguistics experiments show how speakers intuitively form and understand new words, confirming morphological decompositions. And last, historical linguistics provides evidence of processes dating back to Old English texts, showing long-term stability of mechanisms. Derivation, adding affixes. Derivation involves adding prefixes which change the meaning or suffixes which often change the part of speech to a base word. For example, happy is an adjective and then suffixness to be happiness. Create is a verb and then add suffix eve, it's gonna be adjective, so it's creative. Happy is negation, prefix un is gonna be unhappy. These are evidence from an old English text, modern corpora BNC. Compounding and conversion. Compounding is combining two or more independent words to form a new word, like noun, adjective, or verb. Noun and noun, bookcase. Adjective plus noun, blackbird. Verb plus noun, pickpocket. You can find this evidence from in Germanic languages. For example, Old English sunbeam, OET document thousands of compounds. In conversion or zero derivation, change a word grammatical category without adding any affixes relying solely on context. Noun plus verb is bottle. Verb to noun, run and run. Adjective to noun, poor, the poor. You can find evidence in English since Middle English BNC data shows email using 500 plus verb contexts. Clipping and blending. Clipping, shortening longer words from simplicity, often in informal contexts. For example, advertisement, it's ads. Telephone, it's phone. Application, it's app. You can find evidence in process accelerated by media and texting linked to efficiency in spoken language. Blending, combining parts of two words to form a compound word, often for descriptive effect. For example, smoke plus folk is gonna be smoke. Breakfast and lunch, brunch. Motor plus hotel, motel. We combine this evidence in the 9th century cognitive linguistic explained blend as conceptual mappings. Acronym and initialisms. These processes use the initial letters of a phrase to form a new word or abbreviation. Acronym pronounced as a single word. For example, random access memory, or you can say RAM. Initialisms spell out letter by letter. For example, Central Intelligence Agency or CIA. Hybrid, mix of both. For example, Personal Identification Number or PIN. You can find this evidence in the 20th century, rather 1941, psycholinguistic research shows acronyms are stored as a whole units in memory. Conclusion, language adaptability. The systematic word formation mechanisms enriches the English vocabulary with varying levels of productivity between types. For example, derivation is very productive. Compounding is more creative. Derivation, affixes create new words from root. Conversion, becoming word class without change. Compounding, combining root words to form compound words. Acronym become lexical words. These processes highlight the dynamic and adaptive nature of language, which constantly generates new terms to reflect an ever-changing world. These are key references for further study. It's from Bauer 1983. You can find comprehensive overview of English word formation with historical examples. Liebert 2004, theoretical analysis of morphology and lexical semantics focusing on derivation and conversion. Crystal 2006, It's discussion of clipping and modern trends in the story of English. James and Spalding 2009. It's empirical studies on the processes and role of acronyms and initialisms. And last, Marsland Wilson, 2007, for psycholinguistic evidence on morphological processes in language comprehension. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.